Hello, everyone. It is I, your friendly neighborhood Prax. There should be. Wow, I look not horrible, but definitely not the best I've ever looked. Bup, 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 bup. There we go. Right light tone. Hey everybody. I am your friendly neighborhood Prax. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for joining me tonight. This is entirely unplanned. You may notice that I have an overlay. I did this in an hour. Hello, Volpez. Hello, Pope. Welcome in. I am here to share love and excitement because, look, I was my day off. I was scrolling stuff, and I saw on Blue Sky that my friend Chris Spivey, absolutely beautiful, wonderful human that he is, posted the notification that the part 2 of the Black Company TTRPG that he's working on for Arc Dream Publishing has gone live. So I did playtest part 1, and now this is part 2 of the playtest, and this is all about character creation. And if you read through, it says, "Oh, you can stream it." And I sent him a message. I was like, "Hey, can I just GM? I know it's like the irregular APs, but can I GM stream this?" He goes, "Yeah, just make sure that people know that this is not final rules." So you see underneath me, you see this sentence that says, "This is playtest material. Final rules will change." Okay, everybody? But backstory. Okay, backstory from the Prax. Many, many years ago, in a distant past, I and one of my very good, very oldest friends became friends on the bus in 7th grade because of the Black Company books. Okay? We were two nerds who found friendship with this very dark fantasy novel series. In the best possible way. So when Chris Spivey, who is also the Darker Hue Studios, who I've known for a while and have played both Harlem Unbound and Haunted West, started posting that he got the wonderful job with Arc Dream Publishing and that they were going to do the Black Company. I was like, yes, sign me up. Sign me up right away. Sign me up now. Can I get an advance sign up? I want to be here for all of this because this is literally my shit. So tonight we are going to, instead of avoiding the plot with Mass Effect, we're going to avoid the plot with the Black Company. This is where I say content warning for the Black Company. Death, war, discussions of sexual assault, theft, all of the bad things. All of the bad things in one place. It is the Black Company. This is all of the bad things in one place. So there's that. Thank you for joining me. Let's have some chill tunes. That sounds good. Okay. So that's what we've got. Warning for times when death is the nicest thing you can happen to you. Right. Warning for Croker. Warning for the lady's relationship with Croker. Warning for, is it Stockholm Syndrome or are you just into her? So, hey, Faison, welcome in. So this is a playtest look at character creation. We're going to focus tonight on character creation. We're going to mention a couple of the other rules because it's really pretty together. I mean, this is part 2 of a playtest, so like, or is it part 3? Officially, it's part. The playtest 2. So it has rules, the rules for the mechanics will be covered in this, but also character creation. Oh, and sorcery. Because what you want as a member of the Black Company is to have anything to do with sorcery. At all. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't. If you think being a soldier in the Black Company is bad, being a sorceress soldier in the Black Company is just a bad ending for everybody. Everybody involved. So. We are going to get started. Again, this is all playtest material. This is all subject to change. Thank you, Arc Dreaming, for letting me do this. Thank you to everyone who's here chatting, hanging out. I have a Roll20 open. Oh, no, I know what's happening. Thank you, Volpez. No, the problem is I need to get a new mic, and because of that, sometimes it steals my mic, and then I try and fix it, and it gets fixed. And tell me if it's not good. If it's better, worse, whatever. I want to make sure it's doing okay. Thank you. All right, better is good. I can work with better. Okay. If it gets a little hot, let me know as well. Again, it's a case of, unfortunately, the mic is going. I know I have to get a new one. It's on the list. Right behind the video card. But so this is the Black Company. God, don't like. The Black Company was a book series created by Glenn Cook in the 80s. Specifically, it's a fantasy look at the, and Glenn Cook is the OG. We're just gonna cut everything in this section. So hi, Black Company, book series. Written by Glenn Cook. There we go. We can hear us all now. And it doesn't sound too bad. It sounds okay. Oh, okay. Crit. Content warning for all of the bad things. Because people like to say that Joe Abercrombie is the father of grimdark fantasy. No, he's not. Glenn Cook is, by landslide. I love these books. However, they were written specifically, particularly the first book, was specifically written in the 80s. The first book comes out like 1980. Okay, May of 1984. Black Company comes out May of 84. Shadows Linger comes out October of 84. The White Rose comes out April of 85. All right. It doesn't sound like the automatic. Thank you. I appreciate that, Volpez. And specifically Glenn Cook was focusing on, instead of focusing on high heroes or, your D&D kind of heroes, he's like, look, I'm going to write a fantasy novel series about a mercenary company, and instead of writing about the generals and all of this stuff, uh, I'm going to write about the infantry. And to do this, he relied on his own memories and a lot of interviews with guys from Vietnam. Okay? That's the context in which this book series is created. Yeah, the mud covered foot soldier, blood, mud, guts, violence, not good things. Um, in the end, there's lighter portions of the world, kind of, in the novel series. Once you get to like the like the glittering stone and the newer stuff, there is some positives, but the whole book series is really covered in darkness. So is the game, which is what we're focusing on here. So the game, I have a Roll20 for when I need it, but today we're focusing on the character creator for the Black Company TTRPG, which is in playtest from Arc Dream Publishing. Um, this is like, look at this art. Look at this art. Again, this is playtest, so they probably, they don't have everything labeled, so I don't know who the artist is, but damn. This is everything. And this is the best line, right? So, the Black Company is a swords and sorcery role playing game of all too mortal soldiers in the service of an empire ruled by wicked, immortal sorcerers with the powers of gods. You are those soldiers. The Black Company always gets the job done, no matter the cost. Its mercenaries are steel gauntlet around the subtle hand of sorcerer's power, a tool to root out, locate, and destroy enemies of the sovereign of the empire, the Lady, and her deathless servants, the 10 who were taken. In the service of the Lady, you face violence, magic, and terrors beyond the edge of the world. The company is home and family. You must uphold its grim reputation. Your victories, defeats, disasters, and narrow escapes shape its history. The soldiers fight and die. The Black Company lives on. Oh, man. I am so here for this. So here for this. So, this is, again, playtest material, all of it. The rules... Setting in tone. Okay. Scope. Each player should use these rules to create a new soldier. A soldier's details can be entirely random or can be carefully customized or a bit of both. That's up to each player. Please take notes on things you come up with during the process that feel wrong. Again, playtest. Sorcery. As in most RPGs, players who want to play spellcasters have more work to do. If you're not playing a spellcaster, skip the entirety of the sorcery chapter. If you are playing a spellcaster, study the chapter well. Please take detailed notes on what's clear, what's unclear, and what's confusing. If you've read the novels, please note anything that does not fit your expectations of what a minor sorcerer should be able to do. Okay, this is an important point. We should be a minor sorcerer, which is good, because if you're anything up on the upper of the higher level sorcerers in this world, you're not with the company anymore. Part of the you're part of the problem. The GM should use the rules to run the scenario. We're not going to run the scenarios tonight. We're just going to focus on the character creation for the players and their new soldiers. Please take notes on rules you find hard to remember, rules you found hard to look up when needed, which is an important point, rules you and the players found easy to implement at the table, and rules you found hard to implement. What was too restrictive, too vague, too anything? Yeah, I think that's a setting and tone. We are particularly interested in how well the game evokes the setting of the Black Company. We want the Black Company RPG to feel suspenseful and dangerous, to feel like you're playing soldiers who have their own lives and motivations alongside their loyalty to each other. It should feel like the world around your soldiers is old and uncaring, deadly to those who don't look out. Like, charging into battle is a good way to get hurt unless you stack all the odds ahead of time. To feel like you're creating a Black Company tale of your own. Please use the survey to say what parts contribute to that and what parts don't. Again, we are a member of the annals of the company are more important than a single soldier of the company. Uh, okay, so we're going to skip to, so again, so your soldier has skills, luck, feats and flaws, damage and stress, gear and money. The Taken have always been in the back of my mind as a model for the evil BBG sorcerer. Right. Like, if I want, people talk about like, oh, you know, all of these iconic D&D sorcerers are really scary. And I'm like, nah, man, it's the 10 who were taken. Like, can you think, could you, like, picture Vecna against the lady? The lady wins, hands down. Put Vecna against half of the 10 who are taken, and he's toast. The annals are many, many volumes, right? The annals are more important than the company. These that is a line from the book. The the company are more important is more important than any soldier. The annals are more important than the company. Well, without the annals, there is no company. Um, so this is a D100 system, which is interesting. It's a D100 system, but there's also a very interesting so far. Again, this is playtest material, so we're not 100% sure how the final game is going to show out. But it's a D100 system where the GM doesn't roll anything. There are no rolls for the GM. All of the rolls are done by players, and including for NPCs. And to have an NPC, if it's a benefit, you know, if it's an NPC that's helpful, you know, if it's just a beneficial NPC, a player rolls luck with advantage. If if it is a enemy NPC, the player rolls luck at disadvantage. The GM rolls nothing. An ally or an enemy. You know, you roll luck or skill to resist them. You roll luck if the ally is an expert, you add advantage. If you roll luck or skill, you know, an enemy roll luck or skill to resist them. It's really an interesting, like, kind of, particularly after Sunday where we played we did the reflection portion of Roleplay Reflect based on Tachyon Squadron and coming out of Fate. It's a very interesting discussion of how the game is set up. Like, the GM here is going to give you boundaries of, like, this is going to be a advantage or disadvantage, or, you know, there's a cost to every test you roll and there's a consequence for failure, right? Like, cost of the test is risk. So the risk itself is the cost. If you failed, you lose money, you gain stress, you take damage, or become exhausted or sick. The cost of the test might be time. It takes a few hours or more. Debt or favor, you owe someone important. Favor, someone important no longer owes you. A consequence of failure is a risk is realized, so anything you risked, you lose the money, the stress, the damage, whatever. Intel, the soldiers miss critical information. Enemy intel, the enemy gains critical information. Alienation, you lose an ally or gain an enemy. So it's a very interesting, and the GM is supposed to, in the structure of the rules, tell you when you make the roll what the risk, what the cost of a test is, and what the consequences might be. And then critical success is, because we're playing D100 systems, is a 1 or matching dice. Hey, Billy. Billy, I miss you. I miss you, Billy. Tell Nikki I said hi. Hey, Sphinx, welcome in. Hard hands. Well, what is more true to the world of the Black Company than the worst thing you can do is tempt fate and luck? This is true, Volpez. So critical success is a 1 or a matching dice if it's below the test value, so 11, 22, 33, whatever it is. A critical failure is 100 or matching dice above your test value, so 77, 88, 99. Hey, Norden, welcome in. Hey, Sphinx. Excuse me, I was trying to mute myself and apparently I did not. But we are talking about the Black Company. We're gonna, but the system does the thing I love most in any games that I get to create a character in, and Billy will know this immediately. This system is designed so that you can random roll a character, which is just like all of my happiness, all of the happiness in me. It does give you a breakdown of the time involved for things. A few seconds is a fighting round of combat, loading a crossbow, saving someone with first aid, an hour or less searching a cabin, constructing an animal trap, complete first aid for a squad. Chaos incarnate Boyardzo. Right! Right! Billy, I have to say, oh no, Billy, we have to talk. It'll be a thing. Oh, we're going to random roll 2 characters tonight. One is going to be just a normal soldier, and the other is going to be a soldier with sorcery. Because we need to test the spellcaster as well. But I would like to point out, magic in the Black Company world is not good. It's not good for you. It is. Such a thing. It will be epic. Okay. I do like the breakdown of time, right? Like, searching a cabin is going to take an hour or less. Tracking a target in the wilds, maybe half a day. Marching a few miles, digging a trench, a couple of days. Crafting a basic tool, reading a simple book, building a palisade, forced marching 60 miles. Oh, Norden, have you ever read The Black Company? Just out of curiosity, like, I know you're being sarcastic, but like, have you read The Black Company? Sphinx, what is The Black Company about? Okay. The Black Company is a series of books written by Glenn Cook. Okay, good. So, is written by Glenn Cook. The first 3 books came out in 1984 and 1985. So, book 1 came out in May of 84. Book 2 came out in October of 84. And then the next one came out in like May of or April of 85, the last one of the first trilogy. In the first the premise is the company is a regiment. It is a company. It is a mercenary company that has been, there was a political upheaval in their homeland centuries ago, and they were at one point they didn't have, before they were called the Black Company, they had a different name, and that name was a company of loyalists who supported the rightful rulers and therefore were banished, and they needed to make money. And what do? They become mercenaries, and they change their name to the Black Company because eventually they will be able to go home again, right? Like, this is a core premise of the book, that eventually the company will get to go home. And the annals of the company will be submitted into the history of this empire, and everything will be made right with the world. Fast forward 600 years. 600 years? 5 to 600 years. Don't hold me on the number of years, but centuries, okay? This is important. Or, no, millennia. I think it's like 1,000 years. The company has not, has existed. They are now considered the biggest, baddest military unit in the world, and they are for hire. Once you hire them, they are loyal to you as long as you are paying them. But they are for hire. And the first trilogy happens in the northern continent, and then eventually they will go south to go home. It's a whole thing. It's a bunch of series. But the point of Volpez and I were making jokes that the annals are more important. So the annals are the history of the company since it left their homeland. And for all of them, and of course, they have to keep recruiting to keep, things going. So they're, it's now a multinational, multi-ethnic thing. And the main character of the books is Croker. Dear, sweet, I'm sorry for everything that happens to you, Croker. Croker is the company's medic, but more importantly, he is the company's chronicler. He is the current incarnation of the one who keeps the history of the company. He has to accurately record, each individual member of the company, deaths, important engagements, important honors, all of these things. Yeah, exactly. It is the OG Grimdark series. The tagline that they put at the beginning of this playtest material: soldiers fight and die, the Black Company lives on. That is the setting. It's interesting that hey Time, welcome in. The lady, by the way, is technically a sorceress, but by this point, if you get to the end of the series, she's a goddess, effectively. Like she's a divine being. Unfortunately for Croker, he drew her attention. So, Croker, what else do you call the medic? Much like the Foreign Legion, you take a new name when you join. Exactly. All of this is true. But this is a D100 system. Arc Dream Publishing. I keep on calling it Arc Dreaming. I know it's not. It's Arc Dream Publishing. Are doing a really good job. How do you avoid folks trying to enter in their own version of history to the chroniclers? The chroniclers have ultimate authority. It's why the chronicler is usually also a medic, or something like that can be kind of like a member embedded with the company, but slightly separate from it. And it's considered like, so the company are the biggest badass motherfuckers in the world, but they also have this like really weird concept of honor where they can do anything that they will do the darkest shit on a field of battle, but it is considered the ultimate. Yeah, it's usually not the captain, right? Like it is someone slightly outside of the chain of command, which is usually like the medic, and they get to pick their, like when a chronicler is old, they get to pick their their next in line, whoever is going to inherit their replacement. The chroniclers are seen as sacrosanct. They are considered if a chronicler can actually walk up to the chain of like the authority, the captains, the officers, and be like, hey, we need to do this. And people in the captain will say like, I don't want to. And the chronicler can say, The annals require it, and that, like, the annals require it. The I need this for the annals. Those two sentences will the chronicler can do whatever the fuck they want. Um, it's I think Croker does it twice in the first book. Um, when they're discussing whether or not they should break their contract. And that's the other thing. The chronicler has to be able to read and write. And this is a low fantasy world where the majority of the rank and file soldiers can't necessarily read and write. They might be able to read and write some small things, but not a lot. It's why, if we're looking at this in this discussion of like time required to do a thing, right? Like a couple days to read a simple book, a week to read a complex book, a month to write a simple book, and a season to write a complex book. Um, it is a world of darkness, a world of you will die. Except for three characters, two of whom are villains. Well, excuse me, three and a half characters, two of whom are antagonists, one of whom is Croker, and the other is an ascended immortal being by the end of the third book. No one that you meet in book one is alive. The only the only character that you actually feel connected to that's alive by the end of book three, right? So the first trilogy has killed off everybody except Croker and the lady, and two characters who've become antagonists. Soldiers live and die, but the Black Company lives on. Uh, yeah. So when people say that Joe Abercrombie created Grimdark, I'm like, no, he didn't. All right. So these are your skills: agility, alertness, animals, craft, discipline, gambling, great weapons, hand weapons, influence, insight, lore, medicine, power, search, shooting, soldiering, stamina, stealth, strength, and survival. These are interesting. Um, agility, running, climbing, leaping, swimming, throwing, catching, dodging attacks and dangers, alertness, keeping watch, spotting trouble, sensing ambush, remembering details, animals, riding, calming, training and caring for beasts, driving carts and wagons. I like that they put the driving of the carts and wagons under animals. That makes sense to me. Craft, building structures and tools, repairing, smithing, tailoring, cooking, locksmithing. Because again, the company has to rely on its own stuff, right? Like they're a mercenary company, so that you can't always rely on the supply chain of whatever nation that they are involved in. Discipline, making sure everyone follows orders, controlling fear, resisting temptation, sticking to a difficult task, managing money. Interesting. Risk stress with a discipline test to compel cooperation. Ooh, that's an interesting one. Gambling, winning games of chance, knowing the odds, recognizing a cheat. I like these. I like the thoughtfulness that went into the descriptions here. Great weapons, attacking with two-handed weapons such as halberds, pikes, great swords, great axes. Hand weapons, attacking with a one-handed melee weapon such as daggers, swords, maces, and axes. Influence, changing opinions and attitudes through negotiation, persuasion, charm, wit, or deception. Risk stress with an influence test to compel cooperation. Interesting. Insight, discerning deception, ill intent, or motives, withstanding the trauma of outrage or betrayal. This is very interesting to me. How are you going to withstand emotional damage with insight? That's intriguing. So it seems like you would be forced to overcome that emotional damage by knowledge of what the individual was actually attempting. And knowing what they were doing gives you, can pull you out of it because you can think of a way around it, perhaps. Interesting. Lore, knowledge of history, philosophy, and the sciences, studying ancient texts, also learning quickly. Medicine, treating wounds, amputating limbs, curing ailments, preparing medicines and poisons. Yes, because Croaker is also known as the poisoner. Power, force of personality, will, intimidation, making others certain you'll follow through on threats. Oh, look, they put intimidation under power. That makes sense to me. Withstanding guilt and emotional time. Thank you for those gift subs so much. I appreciate you for that. I do not have the alerts on. I will have to fix that. Thank you for that time. I appreciate you. You know, Volpez, Crit, Faye, Sphinx, Chrissy, welcome in. Appreciate the gift sub. Power, withstanding guilt and emotional trauma. Resisting sorcery. There you go. Risk stress with a power test to compel cooperation. Search, finding hidden things. Okay. Shooting, attacking with ranged weapons, bows, slings, javelins, thrown rocks, and siege engines. I love the fact that siege engines is also under shooting, so you don't have to worry about it being different. Us. Joy, everyone. Let's all turn up for Vampires in Maine next week. Yep. Vampires in Maine start Monday. Soldiering, formation and initiative, planning attacks and defenses, training troops, organizing logistics for a fighting force. Interesting. Is used for initiative, which is also always going to be important, right? Stamina, enduring fatigue, pain, starvation, thirst, or illness, healing quickly. Stealth, overcoming alertness, avoiding a sentry, escaping attention in a crowd, causing and exploiting distractions. Good. Strength, raw size and muscle mass, brawling, wrestling, lifting, kicking indoors. Oh, look, Billy, it's for you. Survival, wayfinding, gathering food, finding safe water, building a fire or shelter, fishing, hunting, tracking, all that good stuff. All right, so this is the, well, I'm actually going to show you because the playtest material actually gave us they let us have an editable PDF. It's interesting that they do have a help mechanic and that you can have multiple people attempt to work together to overcome a thing. But it's going to be based on who has the lowest skill, which tells me that that character creation is supposed to be done cooperatively, right? Like you're not supposed to just randomly make a character and come in. Oh, I know what I was going to show people. So stress, composed, no penalties, anxious, no penalties, distraught, cannot voluntarily incur or take stress, appalled, cannot voluntarily incur or take stress, discipline, insight, and power are at disadvantage, broken, cannot voluntarily incur or take stress, cannot risk stress, all skill tests are disadvantaged, can gain stress only from failed trauma tests. Interesting. Yeah, this is going to be. Also, look, this is the damage and stress, and particularly when you consider like our conversation that we were having with Roleplay Reflect about fate and stress in fate. Yeah, you always end up doing better characters when you make it together. That's my thing. When I run games, I always say session 0 will create characters together. So there's stress, but there's also damage, stunned, wounded, maimed, and dying. And dying, you're just rolling luck to win or not. Also, luck is apparently always at 50%. And it's just a straight 50-50, and it cannot be improved. You can improve all of your other skills, but you cannot improve luck. Which, in the world of the Black Company, feels so right. Right? Like, that just feels so right. So all of these are stress recovery. And again, this is very similar. Oh man, just a pile of lies and regret. um, uh, so it's interesting that it's very similar to stress recovery in Fate, right? Any soldier who spends 3 or more days in a friendly territory and spends 1d100 copper or goes into debt loses 1 stress. Other more immediate ways to reduce stress include critical success. So if you have any skill test or luck roll that you crit on, you can clear a stress. Accomplishment, achieve a significant objective. Unscathed, survive a potentially lethal combat in which no soldier took wounded damage or worse. This is brilliant to me as a GM, right? Like, as a GM, and you get to a point where you're like, you really want to reward players for doing so well on a thing that's supposed to be complicated or difficult or as would be a combat, because again, the Black Company are foot soldiers. They do not have lots of things. But if you get to a point where all of the players, survive a potentially lethal combat and nobody took wounded damage or worse, clear stress. Enjoy Brotherhood. Enjoy a stirring reading from the annals, typically given once a month, right? So like you've built in, I like this point because this firmly grounds it in the world of the company, right? Like the reading of the annals is a thing that happens. This is a thing that reinforces the camaraderie of the company, that reinforces that eventually the company will go home, that it reinforces all of these things. All of that. Healing, you can heal wounded or maimed damage, that's fine. And then acting out. So you can have achievement to clear stress, and then you can act out to clear stress. Complaining or bickering, playing it up enough that another player agrees to take 1 stress from you. So you can clear a stress by bickering with another player enough that they agree to take stress from you. That's brilliant. Carousing and mischief, get drunk or brawl such that it causes trouble or a player agrees to take 1 stress from you. That's also brilliant. So in this case, it really does become the company concept of stress, because you can think about it in a meta sense that all of the other players at the table know who has the most stress. And if you can just like, I have like 1 stress and you have 4, hey, let's do something and I can take that stress from you, and then that we can work on clearing that. Selfishness, drop important, not trivial responsibilities to the company and do something just for yourself. Ooh, yeah, that's gonna be a problem. Flaw, indulge in a flaw causing trouble for other soldiers. Brutality, glory in torture or murder in a way that risks stress from trauma for you, the victim, and witnesses. Notice the way this is phrased, that you can't just clear it by taking that risks stress from trauma for you. No. It has to risk stress from trauma from you, the victim, and anybody else who sees it. Yeah. So, yes, Norden, the tongue tangle to reduce stress falls under the spends 3 or more days in friendly territory and spends 1d100 copper pieces or goes into debt. Because that was a thing in the books. Certain characters were well known for going into debt at certain establishments. But I do like the narrative connections and acting out, how that ties into other connections to players, right? Like other players at the table, but also the world state and the world understanding of the company, that the company is more important than individual soldiers, and we can all work together to make the company stronger by reducing individual stress. Damage. Unhurt, no penalties. Stunned, immediate, lose your next action. Ongoing, add 1 step to every source of damage. Recovery, after you lose your next action, become unhurt. There we go. Wounded, immediately take 1 stress. Immediate, lose your next action. Immediate, check infection on your soldier sheet. Look, you immediately take if you're wounded, you're immediately have an infection problem. You add 1 step to every new source of damage. Heals with the first aid or rest. Named, take 1 stress, lose your next action, check infection. Roll on a maimed effects table. Ooh, look, maimed effects table. I like maimed effects tables. Left leg, agility disadvantage and half speed for 1d10 weeks. Left arm, strength disadvantage and arm cannot be used for 1d10 weeks. Abdomen, oh look, sepsis. Strength disadvantage for 1d10 weeks. First aid does not prevent infection until this damage heals. Oh no, it's sepsis. Chest, stamina disadvantage and 1/2 speed for 1d10 weeks. Head, unconscious for 1d10 minutes, alertness disadvantage for 1d10 weeks. Look, concussions. Go right ahead and clip that for Lindy. This is true. At the moment, dying as with maimed. All right, so maimed is take 1 stress, lose your next action, roll on the tables, add 2 steps to every new source of damage. So this is where things get interesting. Dying, incapacitated or unconscious, GM's choice. Roll luck to stay alive. At risk of a new flaw, see dying. Heals with first aid, surgery, or blind luck. Something tells me a lot of banqueteers are about to get sepsis. Look, that assumes that somebody's getting stabbed. If new damage is worse, that's your new damage state. If new damage is the same or less, suffer the immediate effects of your ongoing damage state again. That remains your damage state. Example, you're wounded. New damage worse. A spear hits you for wounded. Your current wounded state increases to that of maimed. Your new damage state is maimed. New damage not worse. A stone hits you for stunned. Your wounded state increases to that of wounded. You suffer the immediate wounded effects again, stress, loss of action, infection, but remain wounded. Each time you take wounded damage or worse, check the infection table on your soldier sheet. Successful first aid within an hour. Oh, that's just a typo. See healing, unchecks it. If it's still checked, the next time the sun rises, you become sick. Oh no, you can become sick. Surgery, if you receive successful surgery, half the duration of impairments. Receive 2 or more half speed penalties, you're reduced to quarter speed. If you receive 2 or more sources of disadvantage on the same skill, you're in dire disadvantage. Ooh. Dying, take no actions. You are unconscious or merely helpless and prone to screaming. Helpless and prone to screaming. Thank you, writers. Thank you. I appreciate this. Screaming is a free action, of course. First aid, a successful medicine test changes dying to maimed. That would be useful. While dying, you must roll luck once a turn. If you gained the dying state from a hit to the head, add disadvantage to each luck roll. After 1 success, you need roll only once an hour. Alive. With 3 successes or any critical successes, change dying to maimed. Dead. With 3 failures or any critical failure, you're dead. Just straight up. See, they put it even here. Luck rolls. Yay, I'm alive. No, I'm dead. Permanent harm. If the first dying luck roll fails, you gain a new flaw according to the hit location on a 1d10 roll. If you already have that flaw, take the listed skill loss instead to a minimum skill of 1. Leg, hobbled, or lose 10 agility. 1 arm, or lose 10 strength. Interesting. Good to know. Conditions. Drunk. Drunk lasts 8 hours. Just straight up. If you are drunk, you will be drunk for 8 hours. Disadvantage on any skill test unless you risk one stress step. At the GM's discretion, worse intoxication means dire disadvantages on every skill test. Do not check a skills advancement box when you fail or critically fail a test. You cannot use the failure of a test to advance when you're drunk. Oh no. Encumbered, extremely heavy loads, exhausted, sick. From infection, disease, poison, dehydration, starvation. Every 3 days, test stamina to remove sick. If daily herbs and medicines are provided with a successful medicine test, add advantage. Failure inflicts wounded damage or maimed to your chest or critical failure. Each further failure worsens the damage by 1 step. Ooh, no. Yay. First aid, surgery, rest. There you go. This is another game where Dr. be important. Yeah, those are hard drinking soldiers. Their drunk is not for the weak of heart, right? No. They are here for the combat initiative. We're gonna kind of scroll through that quickly, mostly because we're focusing on character creation today, but the combat rules are actually really interesting. Combat actions, you have multiple actions that you can do in a round. There are no opportunity attacks against foes that move. Such things are reflected in defense rolls and attack rolls, right? So there's attacking and defending. You can aid another, attack with hand weapons, great weapons, strength, or shooting. Called shot, you risk 1 stress step and add disadvantage. With a success, you add 1 damage step, which could actually be really good, and ignore armor or choose a hit location. That could be really good, right? Like called shots would be great. Cautious attack, reducing the damage you inflict by 1 damage step. Increase it by a damage step. Healing, hide, reload. You cannot move if you reload an arrowblast. It requires 1 action to reload a crossbow. It takes 3 actions to reload an arrowblast. I agree with that, actually. Seize initiative. Test soldiering to gain initiative. You succeed. Soldiers act first, starting the next round. And you can also still move, at least a portion, right? Not possible if you're encumbered, sick, or maimed. You cannot sprint. Gambit. Roll a non-weapon skill. Animals to ride a target down. Craft to activate a trap. Strength to knock down a target, and so on. Success lets you choose 1 result below. No target can be affected by more than 1 gambit action at a time by any given soldier. Interfere. Grapple. Hey, look! Billy! Grapple rules. Disarm, prepare, or distract. Critical success on an attack roll. Remove 1 stress. Inflict damage according to your weapon with 2 damage steps up to slain. Success, inflicted damage according to the weapon. Failure, inflict no damage. Critical failure, inflict no damage. Take 1 stress. Drop your weapon or wooden weapon breaks. Lose the initiative unless a soldier takes 1 stress. Interesting. Guarding another. This tells me that people have read the book and understand the mentality of the series. A soldier goes down. Another drops everything to do first aid. You step in to protect them both. Okay? It's the old adage that a sniper shooting to wound takes out 3 combatants from the field. The soldier they wounded, the medic to treat them, and the guy to guard them. A soldier goes down, another drops everything to do first aid. You step in to protect them both. In that situation, the GM has 2 NPCs making attacks apart from whoever the other soldiers are attacking. If you step in, you take both defense rolls and the risk of taking damage from each instead of the fallen soldier and the medic. I like this. I like this because this tells me that people thought about this when they were creating the game. And it'll be interesting to see how many people who play this game actually engage with this, because how many times in modern TTRPGs have we had the idea of the big bad guy takes out the healer, or attacks the healer, or does something to the healer first, and none of the rest of the party do anything. Exactly. Don't shoot to kill. A live wounded soldier takes 2 more to drag them off the field, thereby removing 3 bodies from the field, right? That's the old adage for snipers. Attacking a door, getting through armor, NPC actions. We're going to just... But weapons. I like that it's not about damage so much as degrees of wounded, right? Unarmed, club, stunned. Mace, hand axe, knife, poignard, wounded. Lance goes weakly to maimed. Spear goes to wounded. Sword or battle axe goes to maimed. Warhammer goes to wounded. Oh, that makes sense. Great weapons. Quarterstaff, wounded. Halberd or poleaxe, maimed. Longsword with 2 hands, maimed. Spear with 2 hands, maimed. Pike. Pikes are maimed. Great axe or great sword. You are dying. And the only... a composite... Ooh, I like this. Javelin, hand crossbow, hunting bow, and longbow... Or javelin, hand crossbow, and hunting bow are wounded. Longbow, composite bow, and crossbow are maimed. And an aeroblast is dying. If you get hit by an aeroblast, you're fucked. Yeah, well, you know, that was a different thing. Piercing a hit from an even roll ignores armor. Reload takes 3 actions. Bulky, disadvantage on close quarters or from horseback. Range 100 yards, 300 yards, adding disadvantage. Just go for it. Armor. That's the combat rules. Environmental hazards. Money. I love 1 copper piece. You can get drunk. 10 copper pieces. Staying drunk for for days. 1 silver piece, which is 100 copper pieces. Renting 2 weeks of cheap food and squalid housing for the squad. 10 silver pieces. Renting a shop or apartment for a year. 1 gold piece. Renting a large house for a year. 10 gold pieces. Renting a noble manor for a year. Okay, so this is our veteran in 10 steps. Here we go. Follow these steps to create a new soldier. Your soldier can be any gender or sex. Your age is 20 plus 2d10. Let's all spin a gold piece house. Look, that assumes we have money. We'll see where we go. You're going to roll background and age, your years in the company, your career events, your feats and flaws, skill bonuses, skill review, rank, gear and money, name and nickname, and favorite complaint. You are rolling for complaint. I am happy. This makes me happy. Yeah, Arabest is the uber heavy crossbow, right? It's armor piercing. It's also basically a siege weapon. Okay, so background, 1d100. All right, so first step, 1d100. 66, because that's how we're starting life off today. Minor. Okay, so agility 50, alert. All right, so let's just highlight this for me. The fact that the suggested feat is hard drinker or resilient. We'll come back to that. So minor origin. All right, so background, minor. Agility 50, alertness 50, craft 50, discipline 60. 50, 50, 50, craft 60. There's no animals. Yep. Agility, alertness, craft. Agility, alertness, craft. Great weapons 70. Hand weapons 80. Power 40, shooting 50. Soldiering 60, stamina 50, stealth 50. Soldiering 60, stamina 50, stealth 50, strength 60, and all of the others at 30. Okay. So this tells me, this is interesting, okay? So if we look at this spread, right, that tells me the things that you're not good at are going to be base 30, right? This entire column is just going to be 30s. So really good with weapons, decent at soldiering, decent strength, and discipline. It's actually interesting. Okay, suggested feat, hard drinker or resilient. When you joined, 1d10, or where you joined, 1d10. Oh, hold on, we need to roll years in the company. The highest d10 roll in the age roll is your years in the company. So we need to roll 2d20 /r, 20 plus 2d10, right? That's the age. 20 plus... I just think that it needs to be flipped, but that's me. 22. Not one to that. So a youngling. So you have been with the company for a year. Where you joined, 1d10. 3. Beryl. Right, we joined from Beryl. The ancient, sprawling, corrupt queen of the jewel cities. Candy and pawnbroker. Yeah, Beryl. We're from Beryl. Okay. I can spell. I was spelling it right. Okay. It's my first day. Yep. All right. Why did you join? That is a D20. D20. Come here, D20. 4. For adventure. I mean, this youngling is writing themselves. For adventure. In the great wide somewhere. It's better than I'm 2 days away from retirement. Sorta. Kind of. All right. This poor bastard. It's gotta get worse. So flaw. So years in the company, 1 career event, 2 feats, and 1 flaw. All right. So career event is a D20. 6. Assigned to headquarters as a messenger. Assigned to headquarters as a messenger. Okay, so career events. Let's put that here. And that gives us plus 20 to stamina and plus 10 to soldiering. Okay, so stamina was already at 50, so now it's going to 70, and soldiering was already at 60, so now it's going to 80. It's better to play someone who's been in town for a while, have some friends, don't be a weird ancient loner in a corner. Oh, dead. Already dead. Session 1. We'll find out. Feats. Wait, hold on. How many feats do we get? We get 2 feats. D100 feats. Okay. So 2 D100. 33 and 86. 33. Interrogator. Wait, these are feats, right? That's what I'm rolling on. That's what I'm rolling. Yeah, feats. Interrogator. You can risk 1 stress to add advantage of discipline, insight, and influence test to extract information from an unwilling character. Look, this messenger, this youngling messenger apparently was doing some messaging for, you know, some interesting things. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. We'll add that there. Or actually, what we'll do is we'll just do page 21. This is what I do for this. Okay. No, not a wartime messenger. They never last long. This is true. This is a medic recording of the dead boy's history. Look, he got upgraded to running messengers for the interrogator. We get, and then what was the second one? 86. 86. What did he do? He's stubborn. You can take 1 stress to re-roll a failed skill test. Oh, you know, I believe it. I believe it. Okay. All right. Actually, that I can just. Oh, he was left in a ditch to die and crawled himself out, didn't he? Look, we'll find out. We'll find out. The company doesn't leave people behind, which is sometimes unfortunate because they probably should. How many flaws do I get because he's a youngling? 1 flaw, which is a D100. Okay. 79. What is his flaw? This is the real reason he stopped being a miner, because he has 1 arm. You cannot use 2-handed weapons or shields. Okay, this is a problem, I think, right? Because I'm making a note. This is where I also have my notes out. I think this is a problem, having this particular thing be a flaw. Because how do you indulge having 1 arm? Running messenger is fine. Running messenger with 1 arm actually makes sense. You have 1 arm, you can't do certain things, it's fine. I don't even object to having 1 arm being a thing you can roll, unless you strap a shield to your chest. Well, that's, that's what plate armor's for. But how do you indulge it or cause trouble to lose 1 stress, right? Like, your flaw is supposed to be what you do to indulge it or cause stress, and these are certain of these, like mute, 1 eye, 1 arm, massage the place, but that's not, you can't indulge it to cause stress, right? Like, you have, when they say that, they mean, or deaf, that's another one. I mean, like, I think the physical ones should not be, because if you take a complete comparison, it's like arrogant. If you resist an opportunity to one up someone's background, wealth, or achievements, you must test discipline test or take 1 stress, right? Like, or guilty. When you kill another person under any circumstances, you risk mental trauma. Illiterate. The flaws are interesting flaws, but there's a slight disconnect in how do I indulge this as a means of being a problem, right? Kelly needed answers to something. Sorry. but you but that's the thing is like causing chronic pain as someone who lives with a chronic ailment, that's not something you indulge in, right? Like the phrasing of the when you indulge it or cause trouble with it, you lose one stress, which, makes sense for something like a smartass or unhinged or vindictive or drunk. You don't need to know. Cavalier, right? Like these are things that you can indulge in a way that seems like some of these, and again, this is playtest material, so this is a way in which we're going to be helpful and make a note that this feels like there's a disconnect between some of these um, and the mechanics, right? And this is again playtests, so we want to give them the right answer to help them do better. Oh yes, somebody with the itch. You can't pass up carousing, gambling, or whoring unless you take one stress. Again, whoring is a big thing in the books. All right, so moving on. All right, well, we'll just put the rest of you cannot use two-handed weapons or shields. All right, standard gear. You get to choose one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, we don't get to have certain things. Because, can't have any of the bows or the spear or pike or shield or halberd or great axe. Given names. So we've got 1d20. Painkillers, I guess, but honestly, that addiction is its own thing, right? Exactly. The addiction is its own thing. I feel like these are flaws may need to be separated into categories, and maybe as a sensitivity consultant, suggest flaws for disabilities. Yeah, I agree with that. I know that they have, again, these are playtest materials, and I know that they have a number of people that I believe are working with that level that, I don't know what they're doing at that level. So this is again, playtest, but you are correct. We are making notes for them to share. All right, so 1d20 for name. Barbatus. I do like that they give you feminine and masculine names for each of these. So Barbatus. Interesting. You don't real name. Years in the company. 1. It don't have a space for your real name, only your nickname. So I'm going to put that. Where would I put that? Language, Barolik. And we're going to put our name down here for right now. All right, and then nicknames. That's a D100 roll. So I rolled a 3 for this youngling. I rolled a 3 for this youngling. His name is Babe. His nickname is Babe. Yep. um, we'll find out if he has any power. Oh, yes. Favorite complaint. 1d10. Favorite complaint. Because this is the other thing, right? Like, if we were going to say that the loss of the arm you're complaining about and that's how you're indulging it, that's not your complaint, right? Like, you have a separate complaint. Oh, okay, so this is where all of that information is, the true name is supposed to go. Okay. Look, it even makes sense that his name is Barbatus and his nickname is Babe. He's a babe in the woods. This is a very, very me and also Simon. Look, I roll these. I cannot, Babe, take this down, right? All right, where are we? We are, favorite complaint is a D10 roll. I rolled a 7, which is superiors picking on you. Okay? I want you to see that I rolled this. Superiors picking on you. uh these and Simon builds some attention. I'm sorry, this could fit right in with Darren and Rick. Look, I'm just saying, if somebody wants to tell Simon about this, go right ahead. But I didn't. I just rolled this shit. I didn't do anything. All I did was roll this shit. Oh. Having a rough time. Or here's the he's that one person to take all the flack and downtime. His mind is going on a different direction. Is Babe the ox driver? No, because he's a messenger. He's a messenger and apparently an interrogator. Right? Like he runs messages assigned to headquarters as a messenger, and then he just spend a lot of time with the interrogator. I'm just saying. Was the pig somehow? Yeah, well, you know, Babe is always pig. All right. So that is the mechanics of creating a character. Which is interesting. I appreciate the way that this is designed, right? Like it's a very straightforward the your background is going to inform your level of this guy is either extraordinary handsome or extremely not, no in between. Babe is the LT's right hand man. That's fair. Awkward gawky all look, okay, he's 22. We rolled his age as 22. Hold on. I'm saving this one. Can't wait to see this NPC when you run this. Right? I will run this. I will run a one shot of this. Camp Fowler kid that the LT took under his wing till he got big enough and sign on. Look, he was a minor. I like the way that this kind of is built, right? Like your background gives you your initial spread, your years, what happens during your years in the company increase or adjust your spread, and then everything else is flavor for the most part, and what you can do to indulge this. God, this is not the mage role. Yeah, that's gonna be the next one. That you get the default weapons: unarmed, knife, and infantry sword. Very nice. Other gear: copper pieces, silver pieces, gold pieces. I like the fact that this is, so after each session, the players have a chance to improve their soldiers. Again, a thing that I really enjoy is the fact when it's a post-session advancement. The GM asks the players questions to gauge the soldier's performance. For each yes they all agree on, each may check an unchecked skill advancement box. Did the soldiers use scouting, stealth, subterfuge, or trickery to their advantage? Did the soldiers gain valuable information or use valuable information to their advantage? Did the soldier bond or conflict with each other? For each checked skill advancement box, attempt a skill test. If you fail, you've learned something. Add 1d4 to the skill, or 2d4 with a critical failure. Success has no effect. This is interesting. This tells me a lot, right? Like the fact that it's a 1d4 level of advancement on your, on your D100 system shows that this is a very slow build advancement system. Very intriguing. I like this. For milestones, after a significant accomplishment or passing of several months or more, the GM may allow each soldier to choose one benefit. Gain a feat. You can never have more than 3. Trade 1 feat for another if the GM agrees that it makes sense. Remove a flaw if the GM agrees it makes sense. Add +10 to any skill that is 70 or lower. That could be really beneficial. Learn a spell if you have sorcery or initiate feat. Learn a language. Every 6 months, each soldier must attempt a discipline test to see what they saved from company pay. Oh, this is great. This is great. Did you save money? Critical success, you saved 1d10 silver pieces. A success, you saved 1d100 copper pieces. A failure, you saved nothing. Critical failure, you're in debt to someone in the company for 1d10 silver pieces. Oh, Lord. Drank it all away every payday, right? Okay, sorcery. Look. All right. To be a sorcerer, you must have either the sorcerer feat or the initiate feat. If your soldier is not a sorcerer, you can safely ignore this chapter. Sorcerers have unusual abilities: psychic senses, learning spells, casting spells, enchanting objects. Anyone can learn a little magic with a lot of work. The power skill indicates your capacity to harness and control magic. For some, a talent for magic appears at a young age. Usually that takes the form of unusual luck or uncanny knack for getting your way. Years of training turn it into spellcasting. Very few sorcerers, not a player's soldiers, unless GM says so, have a feat called magnitude. The greater the magnitude, the more long-lasting, complex, and potent the magic that the sorcerer can wield. Magnitude is for NPCs. The 10 who are taken are magnitude 2. Oh, no. The 10 who are taken are magnitude 3. So adepts of rare talent are magnitude 1. Circle of 18 is magnitude 2. The 10 who are taken are magnitude 3. That tells me a lot about the level of magnitude. Lore power test. To learn it, a cantrip at the GM's discretion, you can learn a very limited version of a spell within half the time. It offers you only one use out of many or reduce one of its scopes. Okay, psychic senses. Sir, you have a huge magnitude. All right. Sensing living things and their traces, scrutinizing magic. A sorcerer can sense magic at 10 yards. One who is sick, maimed, exhausted, or broken or lost cannot use psychic senses. Tell the GM when you use your psychic sense. In most cursory use, does not take an action. You can sense the rough direction of each sorcerer and magical entity within 10 yards and their magnitude, if any. You can sense whether a spell is being cast or is ongoing within 10 yards and how many augmentations it has, if any. If the GM says the spell is especially subtle, sensing it requires an alertness test. So you can sense for free, but you have to test to see it for subtlety, which makes sense because the way magic works in that game, it's not subtle. It's violent and deadly, and you shouldn't do, or in the books, I should say, not the game. But focus senses, by taking a combat action and succeeding at a powers test, you can discern more details. Okay, so you can have just ordinary senses, then you can be more focused, right? Living things, mundane, passion, you can sense the powerful emotions that grip a person or entity that you psychically sense. You can even sense the powerful malice involved in setting a trap in time to avoid the trap itself. "30 feet, why 10 yards? 30 feet is a pretty standard measurement. 10 yards is also what you can move in around while taking an action in this system, so. Scrutinizing magic, protective or dangerous, you recognize whether the caster intended a spell or enchantment you sense explicitly to heal or protect, or explicitly to harm or destroy. Recent spells, you discern how recently spell was cast. The GM described it in hours, less than an hour, or moments ago. Old spells, you can sense a spell that was in effect within 10 yards, but it is no longer active. The spell must have a duration of 3 months or longer and must have ended in less than 10 years ago. The GM describes how long it was cast, days, weeks, months, years, and how long it has in effect, months or years. The GM's discretion you can also sense a spell that requires magnitude 3 to cast after decades, and one that requires magnitude 4 after centuries. Look, the only person in this game who would have a magnitude 4, according to these rules, is the lady, and I don't want to fuck with her. The general answer is, if I as a GM tell you, hey, you sense that there was a magnitude 4 spell here, your immediate reaction is like, nope, I'm out. I'm out. We gone. We are not staying. We are going far, far away. We are seeing what else is there, but we are not saying. Well, and this is, so they have different types of sorcery. So there's psychic senses, learning spells, and casting spells. It's the we're leaving now, and it's not just the we're leaving now, it's the we're leaving now, we're really sorry, we hope you're okay, peace out, we're sorry we bothered you, we're out. The lady is technically starts book 1 as a noblewoman who is a sorcerer, and by the time of book 3, is a god in everything, but the lady could take Vecna and then keep walking. I think I would put the lady against everybody in the Dread Plains and just be like, yeah, she's taking the Dread Plains. She's the lady. The is really important here. Like, I'm trying to think if there's any. It's also why Croker's relationship with her is really sketch. On so many levels. But yeah, so like the 10 who were taken are immortal wizards, right? Archmages of the Circle of 18. The Archmages of the Circle of 18 are like, to use D&D comparisons, the Circle of 18 are going to be Tasha, Bigby, Mordenkainen, right? Like, that's the Circle of 18. And then the 10 who are taken are the Lords of the Dread Plains. Like, that's effectively who that is. The Lords of the Dread Plains. The Lady versus the Lady of Pain. I'd give odds to the Lady. Now, mind you, I bet the Lady and the Lady of Pain would sit down and have an entire discussion about how they broke a variety of men to turn them into their mortal sex slaves and other things over tea. But, like, yeah, the Lady plays dirtier. The Lady of Pain, is nicer than the Lady, if you want to think about it like that. If we want to go with like other comparisons, the Lady could probably take Slaanesh. I would bet money on the Lady taking Slaanesh. Oh yeah, the Lady of Pain's shadow may flay a man. That's nice. The Lady will flay an army. Like, canonically, hold on. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so the Lady, who has a name, by the way, yeah, Slaanesh would be taken. Slaanesh would go down and not come back. Was the ruler of the northern continent for generations. First alongside her husband, the Dominator, for about a century, and later as Empress in her own right. She was extremely powerful. I'm reading from the wiki, by the way. 4 of the major milestones in her life are marked by passages of the super comet. True, that's true. I mean, like, I'm just trying to give like a understand who she is as like a power structure. I mean, she basically keeps the Black Company as her personal minions. And then there's Croker. Sorry, Croker. Wait, is he even listen? Yeah. Poor Croker. You are kept. Uh, yeah, like, she and her husband orchestrated the defeat and capture of their 10 most powerful sorcerer adversaries. The Dominator used the horrible right of taking to transform these rivals into the 10 who were taken, enslaved enforcers. The period of the domination, which lasted for numerous generations, was remembered as an age of evil when the Dominator enforced his will on the subjects with the Lady by his side. I think that that's a point to point out the fact that the Lady, she's Dresden's Mab with more potential. No, she's Dresden's Mab with more violence. And what's the word I'm looking for? Control issues. Like, she's just straight up she is a god. By the end of the book, by the end of the third book, and she's decided that Croker is really nice and is going to keep him. Mm, yeah, she she just rules. She's ruled continents for. I would put money on the lady for basically anything she wanted. At the end of the day, what the lady wants, she can get. With great power comes great mood swings. No, not even that. It's the sense of like, um, she's decided that the Black Company are useful, so she will keep them. She has decided that Croker is useful, so she will keep him. Oh, wait, he's mortal. No, he's not. I don't have to worry about that anymore. You're not mortal anymore. You can still suffer pain and be wounded and be trapped in a jewel for a couple centuries, but you're not going to die ever because I say you can't. But you gave Croker such nice armor and a ride. Oh, and tea. She gave him tea. Tea is a lie. The tea is a lie. Like, if the 10 who were taken are magnitude 3, the only thing that should be magnitude 4 is the lady. Yeah. Sorry, as we've driven down the dark hole that is the lady. You can sense if you're being magically scryed on, from what direction, no matter how distant the watcher's point of view. The sense power spell extends the range of your senses. The psychic projection spell allows you to study magical things or effects in much deeper detail. Oh, look, they have things that are higher in magnitude. 4, 5, 6. All of this is the lady. Like, this whole thing, the lady. If this is where the 10 who were taken are, this is what the lady is living at, right? The 10 who are taken are 3. The lady is like, I'm chilling. Every spell includes the simplest version, which takes the least time, as little as 1 combat action. To make a spell more potent, spending more time casting it, see augmenting the spell. Okay, so you can augment spells. Spell takes effect and use 1 stress step. Ooh, all the crits are the same. Scope, duration, concentration, and instant. Okay. Standard spell usage and language. Ready spells. An NPC or sorcerer has 2 ready spells, 1 plus 1 power level of magnitude. Each ready spell has 3 augmentations plus 2 levels of power. Okay. Rituals. Affliction, animal charm, animation, blast, compulsion, divination, focus, healing, hold, homing. Increase a weapon's accuracy against magical targets. Interesting. Illusion, keenness, increase unarmed or weapon damage. Necromancy, conjure the dead for questioning. This is important because you can only have the dead up for questioning because they won't last otherwise. Obfuscation, pain, incapacitate terror. So that is why DBZ spends an entire episode on their coming on Uber Blast. Yep. Prestidigitation, protection, psychic projection. Detach from the flesh in order to perceive or explore the astral realm, or be pulled from your flesh to be able to have a conversation with an entity far, far away. Yeah, I believe that. Resist magic, scrying, sense power, shape fire, shape magic, shape water, shape wind, sleep. Cause a calm target to doze off. Ooh, interesting. You can only do it on calm people. Telekinesis, Vitality, age slowly and survive harm. Very nice. Warding. Augmenting a spell. Arcane ingredients. Oh yes, it's going to be tainted with darkness. No shit. Arcane ingredients, assistance, other sorcerers can help. Exertion, 1 step, risk 1 stress, take 1 stress. Time, increasing the casting time, 1 or more steps, 1 round, 1 minute, 10 minutes, 2 hours, 1 day, 1 augmentation each step. Interesting. Reduction, each spell is rated by its range. You can reduce each of these in order to augment the spell in another way. Okay, so you could reduce its range to increase its target or duration. You could reduce its duration to increase its target. I like that, right? Like, so you're playing with, it shows a level of competency in magic that you can manipulate the spell that way. Work the target's hair, blood, or precious belonging into the spell. Human sacrifice, 2 augmentation effects. I think that should be 3. But that's just me. Arcane ingredients, a ritual object that symbolizes the spell effects for the target, honey for healing, a cocoon for transformation, a puppet for the victim, etc. Psychoactive herbs or fungi, an animal or human internal organ, ritual killing of a small animal for power of its spirit, invocations or written or drawn on a scroll, strange herbs, fungi, or animal organs burned for intoxicating smoke or strange stew or soup. Oh no. Herbs or minerals, fine powder, common augmentation sources. There we go. I'm liking this. So augmentation effects, no words, no gestures, reduced time, range, target, duration, magnitude, muted, prevent your spell from being detected by sorcerer's psychic senses, even focused beyond 10 meters. Very nice. Blending, combine the effects of another spell. Interesting. You could go up to 6 augments. Never eat one eye or goblin soup, right? You can prepare spells in advance. Enchanting an object. Sorcerer with rare magnitude feat has extraordinary magical capacity and resilience. You gain 2 augmentation effects for each of your levels of magnitude. Interesting. Stress recovery, 1 step per week, 2 steps per week, 4 steps per week. Stamina advantage. Interesting. Yes, magnitude 4, the lady. Example for magnitude 1, silent. Silent being magnitude 1 gives you a lot. Magnitude 2 is racker. Raker is oh, sweet honey child. He's a problem. Raker is a problem. Soul Catcher is a magnitude 3. That makes sense. And magnitude 4 is the lady. There is nothing, like I said, above that, don't need to be near. We're good. A sorcerer's true name is the essence of their identity and the heart of their power. Your true name is the name you were raised with. It might not even be your full name. A single syllable might be enough for you to know you. Sorcerers go to extreme lengths to conceal their true names. Deadly weapon, inscribing the true name of a sorcerer into a weapon or piece of ammunition increases its damage against that sorcerer by 2 steps. Ignores all spells cast by a named sorcerer. Severing power. Any sorcerer who calls out the true name of a sorcerer with the intent to weaken them destroys their access to magic. They can never cast or assist with spells. There is no defense. An act so profound it is called a rite or a ritual, but it takes only intent and belief. Brief words, I name you. It's why the lady has no name. I mean, she has one, but she and her husband, the Dominator, literally spent centuries divorcing themselves through ritual murder from their names. You cannot use the lady's true name against her. All of this is from the book. Tainted with darkness. Evil sorcery taints the soul. Each time you use magic in a particularly dark way, such as For especially cruel harm or involving human sacrifice or with the aid of a demon, you must test power for the trauma of guilt. If it fails, check 2 stress boxes. With a critical failure, check 3 stress boxes and gain the flaw tainted. Afterwards, every time you indulge in such dark magic and critically fail the power test for trauma, you gain a random flaw from the tainted table. If the evil has great scope, such as killing dozens in a particularly horrid torment, add disadvantage to the power test. If the scope is immense, killing thousands in disease or starvation, add disadvantage twice. The sorcery of such great and wicked scope leaves a stain on a location. Again. Yeah. We love a remorse guilt taint test. True. Death wish, ailing, bloodless, nervous, driven, drunk, sour, arrogant, vindictive, cavalier, obsessive, phobia. Interesting. Unhinged. Okay. So these are all about the casting. These are all the spells and the way they're cast. These are good. Compulsion charm, cantrip charm. Okay. So we're not going to get too far into this because this is actually playing. So, but they do have the character sheet. This is the squad character sheet. So as a GM, I can make notes on the entire breakdown of the company, who has what name and status on this, which could be important for the players to have as well, because the way in which you add the help action is based on group tests or who has the lowest of a skill. This is the spell sheet. Spell name or variant, magnitude, casting time, range, target, duration, effects, augmentations required, out of prepared ahead of time, or out of arcane ingredients. Very interesting. I like this. Okay, so this is our poor sweet babe. Let us, however, okay. Open a new character sheet for character number 2, who we know is going to have the sorceress feat, right? So, all right, so we're going to go back to, and then we get to the structure of the company. Yeah, so that's all the magic. Then you get to the structure of the company. As it enters the service to the Empire, the Black Company is equivalent to an infantry battalion, over 600 strong. Its traditions are heavy infantry, armor, shields in the front row, halberds, pikes to fend off cavalry. It marches from assignment to assignment, accompanied by supply wagons and dozens of camp followers. Officers and sergeants typically ride rather than marching. The company includes a headquarters element and 6 platoons divided into 3 companies. Each platoon is commanded by a veteran sergeant. Each company is commanded by a junior officer, a subaltern. The warrant officers provide expert support without commanding troops. The company as a whole is commanded by the captain and the lieutenant. The 7th century disabled and walking wounded, usually about 50. Because remember, this was a single military unit that was exiled and then now is coming back at the head of an personnel and barrel. So Black Company headquarters, current administrative admin, the captain, the lieutenant, standard bearer, Pickles, the quartermaster, engineer, paymaster, Croaker, analyst and surgeon, technically a warrant officer, One Eye, sorcerer, warrant officer, Tom Tom, sorcerer, warrant officer, Goblin, sorcerer, warrant officer, Silent, problem, warrant officer. I should be more polite to Silent. No, I shouldn't. Silent knows what he did. Recruitment and discipline, standard and uniform, ranks and responsibilities. Among soldiers of the same rank, seniority means authority. The one with the most years in the company is responsible for the rest. Privates are responsible only for carrying out orders and upholding the honor of the company. Sergeants and corporals are non-commissioned officers who lead the privates and make sure that orders are carried out. Subalterns are officers commissioned by the captain to lead companies or for specialized responsibilities. 3 company commanders coordinate with headquarters, but they leave direct leadership to the platoon sergeants. A few admin subalterns, standard bearer, quartermaster, engineer, and paymaster, have no combat command unless the company's commanding sergeant falls. The warrant officers, sorcerers, surgeon, analyst, are commissioned by the captain. They have no authority over troops except their designated assistants. They are technically subject to command only by the captain and the lieutenant. In practice, a warrant officer is expected to defer to a combat commander, and available soldiers are expected to assist warrant officers on request. Unless, of course, you're the chronicler and you say that the annals need something. The lieutenant is the company's executive officer, overseeing all and making sure commands are delivered and followed. The captain commands the company and answers to its employers. The company is home. Disabled soldiers remain on the rolls. They support the company as assistants, drivers, armorers, lookouts, and cooks. There are usually several dozen. In battle, they and other support personnel form what the lieutenant calls the 7th century, named after the 100-man century of the Jewel City's armies. They take up crossbows and javelins from behind lines. See? You never, ever leave. Yes, the silent is Obi-Wan. Ooh. Yeah. No, Silent is Clone Wars Obi-Wan. You should have just killed her. So many things would have been better. Silent, you should have just killed her. But, you know, you were told not to and you had to follow those orders. Vulpes knows exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, yeah. So they have the whole history of the company, the Empire, the fall and resurrection, the rebellion, the provinces of the Empire, based on... So all of this is book history. This is really good. Allies and enemies. An NPC sorcerer has few defined spells, and some NPCs have NPC-only feats and flaws. All right. So we're going to go make ourselves a sorcerer. We're going to make ourselves a sorcerer. Page 18. All right. So we're going to... What section? The sorcerer is a feat, right? Or is a background? Sorcerer is a background or a feat? No, it's a background. Okay. Sorcery is... Okay, so you can have sorcerer as a background and sorcery is the feat. All right, so we know one of the feats that they are going to have. And we know we can roll for... They can be a... Okay, to have the sorcery feat, you need... Or to be a priest, a shaman, or sorcerer background. So that's a D3, right? Or are we just going to choose the sorcerer background? We're just going to choose the sorcerer background for our new friend background. Sorcerer. There we go. Which means they get agility 60, alertness 50. Alertness 50. Craft 50, discipline 50. Great weapon 60, hand weapon 60. That makes sense. They don't have quite as much combat skills for a variety of reasons. Influence 40, lore 60. Medicine 50, power 60. Medicine 50, power 60. 60. shooting 40, soldiering 50. Shooting 40, soldiering 50. Stamina 50, survival 50, and then everything else is 30s. Okay, so this is, again, I like this concept of a D100 spread system based on background. We need to roll their age so we can find out they are 37. And they have been with the company for 9 years. All right. Where you joined? Years in the company. Pedora. A river tree. Look, these are people that you would have joined with. Croaker, Match, Silent, and Pickles. Ooh, this is going to be fun. Pedora. You joined in Pedora. Pedora, you speak Berelic, which basically everybody speaks. There really isn't another option. Why did you join? That's a D20. $15. There's nothing as lonely as peace. For a sorcerer, that's really kind of awkward. I don't know what that... Oh, this is going to be a very dark character. We are into the interesting roles already. Feats and flaws. Okay, career events 3, feats 1, flaws 2. Okay, so their feat is going to be sorcery. Right? Like, their feat is sorcery. I got bored studying. Right, like, okay. Career events. They have 3 career events. That's a D20. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, hold on. Where is it? All right. So wait, those numbers. Wait, where is it? Why can't I find 8? Survived a major uprising. Great. Survived a major uprising. That gives us soldiering plus 20 and craft plus 10. Craft goes to 60. Not 600, 60. And soldiering goes to 70. And then what's the next one? What's the next one? Undercover for weeks in an enemy territory. Okay. We have a spy sorcerer. Insight plus 20, stealth plus 10. Insight goes to 50. Stealth goes to 40. That's how you make a taken. You're not wrong, Volpez. You're not wrong. And then, what's the last one I rolled? Hold on. $14. Roll a d6. A superior's error. 5. Led you to be captured by the enemy. Superior's error led you to be captured by the enemy. Roll a d6. 1. The superior leads your platoon. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Hold on. Can I just... Oh, I can't force it to wrap text. Okay. Enemy. They lead the platoon. Okay. You know, okay. What does that give me? What does that give me? 14. Here we go. Alertness 10, insight 10, soldiering 10. Alertness goes to 60. Insight goes to 60. And soldiering is up to 80. Damn. Damn. We have a grumpy spice. Shit. Vulpes, am I making Raker? Is this just Raker? Is this Raker with more angst? Which I didn't think was possible, but it might be. Feats. Sorcery. You've learned how to cast spells. You begin... Maybe not enough charm? Right, like that's it. We've got Raker with less charm. Shit. Oh shit. Well, Raker with less charm. Well, this is the beginning of what feels like a Mass Effect character. Um, um, ooh, ooh, that would, ooh, Sorcery, what page is it? It is 21. Great. Would be really fun to play. Yes. This is what even is their like influence? Their influence is 40. That's kind of where the charm level sits at. Like I will give you that he has slightly less influence than perhaps Raker. Raker's influence is probably like a 60. All right. Flaws. How many flaws do we get again? Flaws. Flaws. We get 2 flaws. Great. We have 2 flaws. It's a D100. 2 D100. 1, 2. Again, I want you to understand I'm rolling for these. A 4. If you resist an opportunity to one-up someone's background, wealth, or achievements, you must test discipline test or take 1 stress. You're an arrogant son of a bitch. Oh no. Yeah, we're making Raker. I can't. I am not channeling him. I'm just rolling this shit. I'm just doing it. I'm just doing it. What is the next one I rolled? Hold on. He is drunk. He a drunk. I random rolled this. I random rolled this. Resisting an opportunity to get drunk adds 1 stress. I literally made Raker. You're welcome, I think. Maybe. Oh Lord. Let me... Yeah. Page 22. See, like, these flaws make sense as flaws to help you cause trouble, to reduce stress, but also to add stress if you need to overcome something. Again, I random rolled this. I would love to hear Cook's reactions. I can almost hear him cackle. Feel free to send this to him. I do not know if he uses social media. I do not know whatever he's doing. I'm gonna put this on YouTube and I'm gonna tag Arc Dreaming and be like, here, I random rolled a character sorcerer. Would you like Raker? This is Raker as a random rolled character. Just what did I do? How did I do this? Oh, wait, hold on, wait. Yeah, great. You give me like the actual number. Okay. So here's the thing. According to the wiki, Raker is just older male. He's not old, he's not an aged, he's just older. I rolled a character who is 37. Somebody find out exactly how old Raker is supposed to be, because I can't even. God damn it. By the way, Raker is my second favorite character in the books. Croaker will always be number 1, but Raker is number 2. Soulcatcher is number 3. That is my rank, by the way. That is my top 3. Okay. Cool. Next up, the gear we're not going to worry about. Names. All right, 1d20 names from Pedora. All right. What is this guy's name? Emiri is his real name, but you know. What is his nickname? Does that even? Okay. And then the nicknames is a D100. Let's D100 roll his nickname. So I rolled a 56, which means his nickname is King. Great. This is a great character right here. His favorite complaint. This is a D10 roll. Favorite complaint. God Uh, his favorite complaint is women or men. Basically, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And we know the answer to this, right, Volpez? His favorite complaint is men. Because well, because you can make a character of any gender or sex. And so the complaint is set up as you complain about women or men. And the reality is he's probably complains about both, but complains about men more frequently because reasons. Or sexuality, yeah. Sex, gender, all of it. Sex, gender, sexuality. You can do whatever you want. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Someone called King complaining about other people? Never. Right? Lord. Lord, I just... So let's see if we can do the, just random roll. Roll 1d100 less than... Oh, wait. His alertness is not 600, it's 60. Less than 8. Less than 60. Let's go with that. Reasons. That's why I joined the Queer Alliance. I know this code all too well. Look, this guy is... he rolled a 31. Motherfucker. This is an overly competent, beautiful mess. I know exactly what I'm going to do with him, and it will be epic. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Along with Flower of Arrogant getting the name King, I'm calling haunted character again. Volpez, I rolled for it. I random rolled for this shit. Lord, I can't even. Dice and I have a thing. I feel like I've straight up played this before. This is true. Probably. It's a nice character though. Like his stats are pretty damn good overall. The only thing that would be really difficult for him: animals, gambling, search, and strength tests, but everything else is copious. Oh yes, that brings me to 11. Yes, by the way, for those of you watching, you can in chat right now, you can donate channel points to give me luck points for Sunday's Witcher game, which might be important for certain NPCs. We'll find out if they live or not. Now we're up to 11. Donate to the disaster murder. Go right ahead. Yeah. Please give blessings so all might live. Fair. As I've told the players, it's real. What's going to happen is on Sunday, it really depends on initiative rolls. 12. So the way it works is streams during the week, any donations of channel points get put into a pot for all of the NPCs, including villains. And that just my entire pot of luck for the game. We really don't need a civil war. Civil war. Norden, you have the entire direct line of inheritance for Redania and Kovir in this room with a bunch of elves. I don't think civil war is the word you're looking for. Particularly given the different things. One's in this. This is true. but technically you're not in the line of inheritance for Redania. You are in the line of inheritance for this particular principality. Sorcerer bad at gambling, but oh, the tonk losses. Right? Right, Vulpus? How much tonk do they play? I mean, it's the equal. The Babe in the Woods has the same level of gambling. Okay, so then you could become the King Stephen of the North. Kratos realized a thing. All right, so I feel like we should roll. All right, so one to DC a D one, two, or a D6 to tell which platoon he's in. Five. So he's in the 5th platoon. Fifth platoon. 4 sections, so a D4. Section 3. And his rank, well, he's a sorcerer, so they mess everything up. But not at the headquarters platoon with the other sorcerers, right? Like, because that's the thing, right? He's got the background point of like the superior's error led to you be captured by the enemy, and they lead the platoon that you're in. Now, if he's in command headquarters platoon, right? If he's in 1st platoon, with the other, if he's in the command support staff with the rest of the, that means that the captain is who screwed up. You already have cap problems and mage problems, and yes, there is. Speaking of, yes, there is a rescheduled date for currently the Cadarn one shot that will be St. Patrick's Day. Currently, so. Yeah, so I mean the sorcerers are all warrant officers, so he really shouldn't be in. He has to be a warrant officer because he's a sorcerer. That makes sense. This is a character. Norden. I would like to remind everybody that while I look and cook very Sicilian, my entire name is fucking Irish as hell. And the right side. Also, shout out to anybody who got the self-reference in last week's Witcher from Kovir with Love. If you got it, good for you. If you didn't, I'm not surprised. Okay, so here's a question. Do we think he saves money? Yeah, so sorcerers have to be warrant officers. You want Darren to get drunk? That's some dangerous play there. More than Dragon Sister. Look. Why would I play with green beer? I have a bottle of regular Black Label. I have a bottle of Triple Triple. I have a bottle of Writer's Tears. I have a bottle of Nafroig. And I think we still have some Middleton Rare. No, we don't have any more Middleton Rare. Dad finished that. So yeah. Why would I go with green beer? That's do what you want in the real world. That's fair. Look, I'm not going to try and get Kadarn drunk. If Kadarn chooses to drink, that's his own choice. But again, wouldn't go with beer. There will be a brown hashtag drink responsibly and be aware of your own limitations and be over the age of drinking age of your current home residence country. But yeah. Yeah, so he has to be a warrant officer because he's a sorcerer. So so in practice, a warrant officer is expected to defer his combat commander, right? Right? So who is his combat commander in the 5th platoon? Oh, crit, I'll tell you that story later. Yeah. Cool. Does he wear armor? Can he wear armor? Gear and money. The coin. All right. That's not the right page. Good to know that you're. Oh, no, it is. It's just very awkward. Damage, stress, drunk, condition, last 8 hours. Good to know. Standard gear. Okay. 1d100 copper pieces. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Oh, fuck, this guy has 100 copper pieces. There you go. That's great. He is this sorcerer is a menace. This sorcerer is a straight up menace. There is no there is no ending easily with this guy. A horse or mule and cart. He would have a horse. Yeah, he had a horse. He would have a horse. He has to have a horse. Because he's a warrant officer and he's a sorcerer. Oh, look, sorcery. To be a sorcerer, if your soldier is not a sorcerer, they can safely ignore this. Sorcerers have many unusual abilities. Power skill indicates your capacity. Okay, so this makes sense, right? He doesn't have a very high power. I mean, he has a 16 power. And he's the king, right? That's true. Okay, so let's look at this. No, this one. All right, so we know it has to be. He can't do anything high magnitude, right? It has to be no magnitude because he doesn't have the magnitude feat. Hail to the king, babe. Good Lord. All right. We start with 5 spells. All right. So how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and because I rolled 7 twice. All right, so 7, 4, 7, 8. Okay. He has blast. He has 6, 7 focus. He has 8 healing. Ooh, interesting. He has, and then what's the last one I rolled? That was 1, 2, 3, 5. 20. The next 2 are 26. Sleep, which goes with the healing, I guess. And then vitality. God damn, did I make a problem child? No, sorcerers can't be chroniclers. Well, they cannot be official chroniclers because of reasons. Great. He has blast, focus, healing, sleep, and vitality. Hello, Lysander. Welcome in. We are rolling a random rolled problem child character for the Black Company RPG. This is playtest material. It's subject to change, all of this. This character fits so many tables as the problem. This is true. This is true. I random rolled a serious problem, Lysander. Age slowly and survive harm. Okay, so okay, magnitude. We don't have magnitude, so we can't do anything with it. He doesn't have any tainted things. Okay, blast with no augments. Blast. Magnitude 0. Casting time 1 round. Range 10 yards. Oof. That's gonna be a thing. Target. 1 target. The damage becomes oof. 1 damage. Wounded. That goes straight to wounded. That's impressive. Duration instant. Components, words and gestures. Great. They didn't put anything about words and gestures, the components in that chart. We have to make it an instant. He's not a problem. Well, not for himself, for everyone else. That's another story. Yep. Power rolls already dictating about us. Focus. What do we got for focus? Focus. When you learn focus, designate a single skill that it affects. Focus agility, focus insight, focus shooting. While focus is active, add advantage to every test of that skill. Magic New York. Hello, fuck you. Okay, so what he has a focus for a skill. So his spell for focus is going to be for a skill that he uses. It can't be on a spell. It has to be a skill test for that you're rolling with advantage. So are we going to keep the random roll, just go through the list of the 20 skills and assign a d20 roll and see where he put his focus, or are we going narrative here? Random the skill. We got one vote for randomizing the skill. All right, let's stick with what we've got going. Let the dice chaos begin. And because narrative can be influenced. This is true. This is true. Again, I random rolled this. Random rolled this. Okay? I roll a 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 12, 13. All of his powers tests, which is what he uses to cast spells, have advantage. Just you get you to random roll someone normal. We'll try again. We can do another one. All right. So focus. Okay. Focus. 2 hours. It's a 2-hour casting time. Okay. So 0, 2 hour, 2 hours. Self. Target. Self. Duration 1 round. That seems... I would, as a GM, would say this. I'm calling it now impossible. Look, I think that's I think that mechanically I would have a problem with that spell, right? Like, if you're spending, as a player, 2 hours to prep for this spell, and then it only has a... Well, no, it has a duration of instant. It doesn't make the single spell effect. While focus is active, add advantage to every single... So then that means that you're spending 2 hours, right? You're spending 2 hours of prep time to cast a spell to get advantage on 1 round, on 1 roll. Yeah, I don't know that I think that mechanically, I think that's a slightly unbalanced. Yeah, ritual to prep for another cast, maybe, but again, it would still be... Because then you'd have to do it immediately, right? Like, you'd have to do the ritual and then immediately cast another spell. I need to make the taken. Look, I've already made Riker. He's technically taken. I would say re-roll away from power. Yeah. But again, I still don't know that I like the 1 duration, even for the 2-hour casting, right? Like, 10 minutes for 1 minute, 1 minute for 10 minutes, 1 round for 2 hours. I understand what they're doing by saying you have the augmentations to do that, but I think that there's a again, and this is all playtest material, so we can say that there needs to be a little bit of group on that. So I should re-roll the d20 to see what skill I should put it on then, is what we're saying? and somehow it gets worse. Somehow, re-rolling the d20 makes it worse. Because now his discipline goes into focus. For our arrogant drunk guy who has to roll discipline every time he wants to avoid drinking. Like, I think that mechanically, I think focus needs some a little bit of help there. We'll put it on discipline. He's got, yeah, he has 2 hours to not drink, right? It basically is like, if you know you're going, if like it's a case of like he knows he's going out. There we go. We'll just leave that there. I think that mechanically, I think focus needs a little bit of rework. How many, with many sips of liquid courage to resist demon drink, right? Like it's interesting. Healing, however. See, this is again 2 hours for 1 day's duration. Eases pain and recovery. A wounded or sick target gains the benefits of 3 days rest in 1 day. Duration cannot be augmented. Cannot be cast without gestures of control. Healing has important limitations. The healing spell has no effect on maimed or dying target. If the target was made wounded or sick by a spell cast by a sorcerer with magnitude, the healing spell has no effect unless you have a magnitude greater than theirs. This guy doesn't have magnitude, so 2 hours. Range touch. One day. Page 40. Yeah, but it's a case of you can use healing. You need to be healed or have like a surgeon perform surgery on you to get out of the wounded state, and the number, or you have to spend days of time. So if you have a person who can cast healing to speed up your recovery by 3 days, that's actually really good. And you can do it repeatedly, 1 day after another. So if your original timeline for healing was, say, 9 days, then it's only 3 days if you have somebody heal you every day. That's actually really great. Oh, and sleep. Sleep. Well, yeah, probably. No effect in combat. The target must already be bored or sleepy. The target falls asleep. Any loud disturbance ends the spell and wakes the target. Cannot be cast without gestures of control. I would take the sleep variant. I don't think that this limitation on the spell, because who casts sleep in the game? The lady casts sleep on Croaker all the fucking time, but that's a separate issue. I'm gonna give him the combat variant. Change range to touch and target to one target, and then it's a combat spell. Sleep. Yeah, 1 round removes the already semi-tired or worn out. Yep. Touch. 1. Duration. Seems really weird, right? Like, falls asleep, any loud disturbances on the spell, but the duration of the spell is only 1 minute, so it would end early. I don't know that you should have a duration here. Or is it the duration of how much the area is going to encourage sleep? This is another note I would put. I'm going to put this as another note. Um, Vitality. Here we go. Spell's duration, you may risk one stress step to add advantage to any stamina test. You can add advantage to all luck rolls to survive, dying damage, and you age half as quickly. This spell has no effect on anyone but the caster. Cannot be cast without gestures of control. 1 day. Oh, so you can just cast this every day and be like, cool. Wait, I'm confused. You have to spend a whole day casting to only get a day's duration of the benefit of the spell? I don't know. I don't know about that. Yeah, the original casting time seems extreme. 2 hours for 10 days, 10 minutes for 3 months, if you have the augmentations, right? Like 10 minutes for 300 years. Again, that's but 10 who were taken. No, it's a circle of 18. Magnitude 3 is 10 who were taken. I would shorten that. I would make the minimum 2 hours, do 2 hours, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 minute. Right? Because I already have for magnitude 2 and 3, 10 minutes is the same. It's only the duration that changes. I would say instead that it should be, in my opinion, 2 hours. Yeah, exactly. How often would a working sorcerer have the free time to cast all day one spell? I don't think that, particularly a spell that only lasts a day. Why would you do that? It would be a waste of resources and your time. Right? Like that would just be a straight up loss of time that any sorcerer would not do. So, I'm gonna put what they have here, but I'm just gonna make a note that I think the mechanics for the duration and casting time need to be relooked at. Is my general note. My general note. Look, Lysander, I basically accidentally random rolled Raker. A slightly less charming Raker. Which is hilarious to me. I'm struggling to type. Page 49. So so if you knew you were going into an arena situation or some other challenge gig, but again, you know, you're not, because you are a, like, if you were doing it for like a planned pitched battle, maybe, but even then it's still the day before the battle where you would have to be as a member of the company doing so much other things. You're spending an entire day casting a spell. All right. So we have our babe in the woods. We have our king, our sorcerer. Let us make one more random rolled character to see how badly I can continue to just be, you know, a character problem. I'm just saying, this is going to be fun. All right. All right, chat. All right, chat. To prove I am. We're not saying you make problems, but look, I did not create any of my players' characters for Witcher or this upcoming vampire game. They did that themselves, and they created their own problems. All of the problems that they have are their own choices. So, let us welcome to the simulation. This is true. Okay, let us make the last character we're gonna make for tonight, at least with this. I facilitate my players in their self-imposed struggles. Yes, this is true. This is entirely true. All of the things I facilitated for all of the players at that banquet last week in Witcher were their own self-imposed struggles. This is entirely true. All right. Let us start from the beginning. Roll 20 plus 2d10. Also 37. But he has only been in the company for 8 years. Okay, great. Background. No, what I said, Norden, was you all, that everybody who had problems in that banquet were their own choices, were players' choices. Mm-hmm. It was all your own problems. All I did is facilitate. All right, so D100 roll for background for this last character we're going to make. Again, I would like to point out that I random rolled this shit. I random roll characters. And a 57 is a healer. Okay? 57 is a healer. Healer. Okay. Discipline 60, Great Weapon 60, Hand weapon 60. Okay. Okay. Influence 50, lore 50, medicine 80. Well, we needed a medic, right? We needed a medic. The fact that I random rolled for this medic, great. Search 60, shooting 50, soldiering 50. Search 60, 50, 50. Stamina 50, strength 50, survival 50. And everything else at 30. Oh, that's number 12. Thank you, Crit. I should refuse getting rid of that damn curse. You chose. You made choices. No. Let me rephrase that. You gave him orders. This is the new character. This is random creation number 3, technically. We have our babe in the woods who is the miner and interrogator. We have King, who is our sorcerer, and now apparently I random roll a medic. The party needs a medic. You can't expect the analyst to go into that shit with the party. The problem is he does. Like half of Croker's problems are because he didn't want to just stay and write books. He wanted to know shit. The other half of Croker's problems are because Pickles. Pickles and the lady, split between the two, right? Like a quarter of his problems are Pickles, a quarter of his problems are the lady, and half of them are because his own damn want. His poor sweet child. We'll find out. We'll find out if he's 37. This healer is 37. All right. So Lysander, have you gotten to Pickles yet in the book series? They're characters. Pickles is a character in the book series. Why does this sound like a dark heresy party? I can't control that. Oh, this way we've got a nice balance. So our babe is from Beryl. This guy is from Rabosa. Well, we should also roll for. Oh, so then you should have met Pickles. He's in the first book. He is a big problem in the first book. Caught between Babe and King. This reminds me of the worst poly trios I've met. Look, I'm just saying, I don't think that Babe is part of the poly because, King wouldn't be able to King would not be able to put up with training a 22-year-old. Like, this guy, Babe is too young. King would look at that and go, I will break you. And I don't feel like putting you back together. So that's not worth my time or effort. Look, he's arrogant and a problem. And his favorite complaint is men. Yep. Because, reasons. Okay, where are we? We are at, why did you join? That's a D20. Again, I would like you to know that I random roll these things. I random roll these things, and I roll a 15 for the second time. There is nothing as lonely as peace. He and King are problems together. Babe must be trying to heal that. Look, you did, Norden. You did indeed. I would just like to put forward the fact that he's only been with the company 1 year less, and they did not know each other first because they were separated by a year, and the company moved cities in that year, so they technically joined from two different cities. But god fucking damn it, yes, these two are a problem together. We know that now. He has 2 career events, 1 feat, and 1 flaw. Career events are a d20. Well, first of all, he rolls undercover for weeks in enemy territory again. Because I guess he and King bonded over this undercover for weeks in enemy territory that the two of them went on. That's what we're going to say. They bonded at that point. What does that give us? That gives us insight 20 and stealth 10. Is this a spy platoon? Who knows? Insight goes up to 50 and stealth goes up to 60. There we go. And then what's the second one that I rolled? Oh, okay. 15. Roll a d6. Reoccurring conflict with superior. This really goes with King's problems. A reoccurring conflict with the superior in your platoon. Oh wait, does he only have... No, oh, these are career events. These are in the wrong place. All right, that's the problem. Given easier to heal if the enemy doesn't notice you, good stealth makes sense. The same superior, exactly. This is the worst polycule I've met. 2 adult men and a babe. Wasn't no, that's 3 men and a little 3 men and a baby is the name of that movie. Unless we're talking about an entirely different film, in which case I think that's just called oh, no. Nope, 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 nope. Where is it? God damn it. Queer as folk. That's just queer as folk. No. No, no. 2 adult men and a babe is just queer as folk. That's what that is. Yeah, he's probably mad at that superior for getting King captured. I believe it. That Bruce Willis bank robber movie. That's Hudson Hawk. Hudson Hawk is an entirely different thing. He just wanted, a drink. He wanted his coffee. Insight plus 20, stealth plus... No, hold on. Down here. Influence plus 10, insight plus 20. Influence going to 60, and insight going to 70. Dude. Dude. Bruce Willis bank robber movie? This is the messiest melange of men possible. Oh. Fair. That's fair. That's fair. Feats. He gets 1 feat. I just want to make sure I'm looking at that. He gets 1 feat. Yeah, 2 career events, 1 feat, 1 flaw. Marauders. The superior is a piece of work. Yep. Feats. 1 feat is a D, and the feats are a D100. I cannot make this shit up. This asshole. This asshole rolled lucky. You can risk 1 stress to add advantage to a luck roll. He's a lucky motherfucker. All right, he gets 1 flaw. What's his flaw? His flaw is a D100. He's also drunk. This is the other reason he and King get along. Look, it's 2 drunks in a... Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. 22. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. We have 2 drunks. We have 2 drunks that are so codependent. The sorcerer and the medic. This is a thing. This is a thing that will go on. Standard gear. He gets I mean, I guess we could give him the here's the thing that makes it's very strange to me. I guess we give him the surgeon feat straight up. Or he's just a medic. He can't do surgery, he's just a medic. We'll keep him just a medic. Alright, so made the drunk Sherlock and Dr. Watson? Yes. Who go behind enemy lines. One D100 for money. This motherfucker also rolls 100 for his copper pieces. I can't even with these guys. All right, names. Name D20. 11. Terran. His name is Terran. They have a cunning plan. Blackadder does the Black Company. They have a cunning plan. A plan so cunning you can stick a tail on it and call it a weasel. Cunning plan, you wouldn't have a cunning plan if it came up, bit you, and said, I'm a cunning plan. What is his nickname? I can find numbers. I can find numbers. I can, oh Lord. I can look at realizing exactly what 78 is. 78 is Pox. The medic is called Pox. Mm-hmm. 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 The king pox bay fix pox on me too late. First thing they healed. No, somebody at some point. At some point somebody turned around and said to King, "A pox on thee," and King's response was, "No, that was last night." Entirely deadpan. That was last night. That has been said more than once. We're calling him in to fight. Lord, I can't even. I can't even with these. How did I also? How did I random roll 3 characters? I random rolled 3 characters that are just Simon. Would you like to play? This was not intentional, but it was a lot of fun. Um, yeah, 3 random rolls that dovetail so neatly. Correct. I just do this, apparently. So I like. Oh wait, we're not done yet. We're not done yet. He needs his favorite complaint, right? Favorite complaint is a D10. I could see Pox being Pope or Trooper, and I would watch you play King, Norden. I would watch you play King. Um, Babe is just straight up a Simon character. Babe or King is also a Simon character. Like the yeah, the spell durations are sus. That's what I'm. It's like, again, this is playtest material. It's going to get changed. They've already started making adjustments based on the feedback they got from their first playtest. So, Pox feels like a trooper, or Greg. Pox would be Greg playing Pox. There you go. Trooper playing Babe, Greg playing Pox, Norden playing King. I'll GM that one shot. Um, D10. Hi, I rolled a 5. I rolled a 5 for our surgeon. I rolled a 5 for this medic. Oh god damn it. Mm-hmm. Everyone's incompetent but you. Particularly that superior officer that's just a problem. I can't. I can't even. I have mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Fucker keeps making work for me, right? A mess. We have made a mess of this character created. Look, this is why I was like, hey, Chris. Chris Spivey, by the way, is the production designer narrative lead. I don't know what his, I should look what his official title is. I should make sure I know what his official title is. Before I say anything further, because he's important and he has a narrative title. And hey Chris, what is your official production director? There you go. He is the Arc Dreaming production director, Arc Dream production director for Arc Dream Publications. He is also he is Darker Hue Studios. I messaged him when he made the post today, and I was like, hey Chris, can I do this? And he's like, yes, go ahead. Like, great. This is playtest material, but so yeah, this has been fun. This has been a lot of fun. I'm going to write up some notes for the online survey for their feedback, but I'm also going to see the playtest scenario stuff goes through the end of the month. April 1st, it started March 1st and it goes through April 1st. You can find more about the actual game at their website here, theblackcompanyrpg.com, which has a link in the chat. What I'm going to do is take a short break now, because I think this is a lot of fun. I have some notes I've put together that I'm going to put on the thing later. I'm going to take a short break now and change things out, and I'll come back with some discussion of Vampire for a little while before we end for tonight. But I think this was a really great example to look at. When I put this up on YouTube, I'm going to do a little bit of tweaking so it's not quite such a mess. But we'll come back with some Vampire in a little bit. So thank you to Chris Spivey for saying yes to this. Thank you to the authors and writers and everything at Chris at Arc Dream Publishing, Shane Ivey, and the crew over there. It is a beautiful, beautiful thing, and I think this is a lot of fun. Volpez, have a good night. And so what I'll do is I'll set us to the break string. I'll be back in a little bit. I'll probably run the ad break while we are there to get rid of some of those pre-rolls. And I'll see you in a little bit. So I'll see you in a little bit. Okay. All right.